What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with another ARK Insight, and today we are taking a look at the Argentavis. Now, it's very similar to the video that we did on the Rex. Today we're doing it on the Argentavis, and we are essentially going to be covering their abilities and what builds you could possibly use for them, which are useful. Now, the RG is a really great mount to have, because it's really just a real versatile mount. Like, it is crazy what you can accomplish with an RG. Since their TLC buff, they have been ridiculously powerful, and they're a great team to have around with you all the time. Now, you can see here, the primary ability of the RG that you're definitely going to utilize is his picking up ability. This RG, well, the RG in general can pick up most mounts. It's ridiculous how many mounts the RG can pick up. So he can pick up Ankies, Dodix, Thylacolios. He can't pick up Beavers, unfortunately, but he can pick up Equises as well as most of the other smaller mounts, such as your Dillos, your Dodos, your Oviraptors, you know, all those sort of things, the Raptors and everything. They can pick up quite a number of mounts and dinosaurs. Now, as well as that, you can actually attack the tame or the dino that you've picked up in your talons as well at the same time, which is great. Now, another ability that the RG has is he has another pickup ability where he actually uses his beak to pick up smaller mounts. So Dillos and Dodos you can actually pick up with the RG's beak, and all you need to do is hit the third button, so either I think it's C for computers or your right stick for console, and that allows you to pick up creatures in your beak. He does do a weird animation where he looks like he's picking it up with his claws, but he actually isn't. He's actually using his beak. Now, like I said, this does only work on Dodos and Dillos and small creatures like Listosauruses. I don't think there are any in the area, so I can showcase this to you guys, but you have my word that he does it. Now, some of the builds that the RG has... Oh, well, we haven't finished actually covering his abilities. So, another unique ability that the RG has is that he actually reduces the weight of resources in his inventory. You can see we have this single stone here. This will get reduced to 0.3. 0.25 technically, because it reduces the amount of weight by half. Now, this is the same for crystal, metal ingots, obsidian, polymer, and a few other things. Stone as well, but not wood. Wood isn't covered by this. So there is that as well to take into consideration. Now, you also saw that his saddle actually acts as a smithy. So you can put stuff in the RG's inventory and make things from it, pretty much being a smithy. That's exactly what his saddle is. It makes him a portable smithy, which is great to have on the fly, especially if you're raiding. Okay, so now let's get into some builds for the RG. Now, we're just going to quickly bump up his XP again. He doesn't actually have enough points into it. There we go, 72 points. So, like I said in the Rex video, you're not going to have all 72 points available to yourself, so you do have to remember what you pump up into for the RG, because it can result in you changing it a little bit. But the first role we are actually going to cover with the RG is the War Mount role. So, RGs deal quite a bit of damage being flies. They actually deal quite a bit of damage. Now, the only thing is you don't normally see RGs being used in battle because, well, you've got Wyverns, you've got Griffins, you've got Rock Drakes being used nowadays. You know, RGs don't really get used all that much. But if you're a small tribe just starting out and you decide to go do some raiding or attacking and you don't have quite the ability to tame up a Griffin or the Wyverns yet, well, you can just use your RG. Now, for this build, you're mainly going to want to build into health. You know, 5k health is normally plenty of health. Do take into note that if they do have turrets, you might want to bump that up a little bit higher, because Plant X's will chew right through your RGs. They can survive quite a bit of damage though, so do take that into consideration as well. But health is a main one that you're going to want to pump up. Stamina as well is another big one, because you don't want to be flying around and then run out of stamina in mid-flight. I normally like to have about 2k stamina on my RGs when I will plan on taking them raiding or just anything in general. 2k stamina on an RG is a great amount of stamina to have. Now, weight you don't really need to worry about, because if you're picking players and everything during PvPing, you know, you can have a selectively bred War Mount RG. You don't need to worry about leveling weight, because your players aren't going to level more weight than an RG. I can tell you that now. The main thing that you will be wanting to focus on is melee damage. You want to pump this sucker up as high as you can. Well, not really as high as you can. You can easily split this into health if you want. But RGs get ridiculous amounts of melee damage. You can see they were at 658. You can even pump his health up a little bit higher if you want. You know, even up to 7k if you so choose to, and then dump the rest into melee damage. Like I said earlier, you're not going to have all these points available to you, so make sure you space it out. But you remember we did 94 damage to an Equus. Well, now we're going to deal a lot more damage to the Gallimimus. There you go, you can see our damage has effectively doubled, and we just shredded that Gallimimus into smithereens. Now, this build you can then use to go PvPing against other players. You can simply pick them off their mounts, or just pick them in general, or just straight up bloody attack them. You don't even need to worry about picking them. You can just straight up attack them. Now, one thing to note as well, if you don't choose to attack them, you can just straight up drop them. So if you pick them and they've got, like, say, a whip or a flamethrower or flame arrows or something like that, pick them up, fly up, and just drop them. You know, you'll drop them straight to the ground. They'll die most likely from fall damage. If not, they'll be injured. They'll have the bone breaking thing, and you can just fly back down there, pick them again, or just finish them off with your normal attack. But this is a great role to use, a great role to fulfill, really, because you can then go out and take on alphas, so Alpha Carnos, Alpha Raptors, even Alpha T-Rexes with your Argy, and you will easily able to decimate them. You know, obviously not as easy as you would, say, riding a Rex, but you can still take them on with an Argy, and you have the means of making a getaway if things start turning south. So there is that to take into consideration as well. But this is just one of the many roles of the Argy, and well, we'll be getting into the rest of them right now. Now, one thing you can change about this role is if you so choose to, you know, mainly use this role in PvPing and like player picking, well, you want to try and sub out the melee damage, and you want to pump that into your health and stamina, because if you're picking up players, they're going to try attacking you with whatever means necessary that they have. However, if you've got a large health pool and a lot of stamina, well, they're not going to get off with any success. So you can easily swap out putting points into melee damage and just going for straight health and stamina and evenly distributing it between the two. That will ensure that the player won't actually kill you when you pick them up, and that their turrets won't actually kill you when they pick you up. When you pick them up, sorry. So there is another role there in itself as well. So the next role that we are discussing now is the pretty obvious one that you're going to want to use most of your Argies for. This is the one that we mainly use, but we do like to put a few points into health as well. This is the carrier Argy. So essentially this is going to be your Argy that'll ferry all your materials, carry your Ankies to go grind up metal, to grind up anything, your Dodicaruses, to go grind up stone, everything. You know, you can put a ton of weight into these guys, and they will be able to carry pretty much anything with exceptional speed. Alright. So for this build, you're going to want to put, I personally like putting a few points into health. I normally get my Argies up to about 5k health. It's only about 10 points into their health. And that's even warranting that you actually need to put health into your Argy. Some Argies come up to about 4k health, and you don't need to worry about putting in any extra points. I just like putting the health in case we're landed or we're getting attacked by a wild dino, or if we fly past an enemy player's base and, you know, they have Plan X turrets and you could easily get shot down and whatnot. Or even if you bring this guy to a raid and you want to ferry materials out, the extra health can really make a difference in terms of getting out alive or getting out dead. So the next thing you want to pump up is stamina. You want to get at least 1300 stamina. I found 1300 stamina is a decent amount to have on weight Argies. However, if you do want to put more points into their stamina, by all means, go ahead. I definitely don't think you need to go above 1500 because you'll be constantly landing, filling up with resources from your Anki and your Dodicaruses and other resources as well. So that all is personal preference. You don't have to put so many points into stamina, but it all comes down to what you like. Now, obviously, the final one that you're definitely going to want to put pretty much the rest of your points in is weight. These guys can get up to ridiculously high weights. Now, we do have these settings set to official, so this is what you'll actually be getting on official rates as well. Now, you can see here, obviously, we've got the 72 points available to us, but the Argy weight is easily able to get up to 3,000. There you go there. You can see 3,000 weight on an Argy is a ridiculously high amount of weight. Like, that is ridiculous. Imagine the amount of metal, stone, anything. You could easily make your higher up blueprints in the smithy of the Argy if you so choose to. This is a great role to put on your Argies because, well, this is what they're mainly used for filling up on weight and just absolutely carrying everything for you. It's a great role to have, and I would definitely recommend putting a lot of points into weight for your Argies. There's not really much else to say for this role other than that. You can obviously make it a short distance weight Argy, but, you know, there's honestly really no point. Now, one final role that we want to discuss. This might seem a little bit crazy to most of you, however, I've used this method more than once myself. Now, this is the egg stealing role for the Argy. Now, for this to actually work, what you need to do is you need to make sure you have a sleeping bag or a bed located close by to the Wyvern Trench, and we're getting attacked by a scorpion. To the Wyvern Trench, or like, you know, wherever you can steal Wyvern eggs from, the Cove, Scorched Earth in there, the Scar. So you want to put either a sleeping bag or, you know, a bed enclosed in like foundations and walls and whatnot. Or what you need to essentially do, because Argies have such great stamina, they don't actually need to land for a while. So what you can actually do is, let me show you, this is going to be good. I guarantee you it'll be good. So head over to the Wyvern Trench or wherever you want to get your Wyvern eggs from. Now, like I said, Argies have great stamina, so you want to try and tame an indisposable Argie. You know, they're not too hard to tame. We'll be going into an in-depth video on how to tame up Argies as well. I'm just hoping that there's Wyverns in the trench to illustrate our point here. Are there any Wyverns? I do not see a single Wyvern. Okay, well, this is troubling. This kind of just defeats our purpose. So with the Argie, what you can do is you can steal the Wyvern eggs. Now, the Wyvern, the Argie isn't as fast as the Pteranodons or the Griffins or whatnot, but it is a way to get them. So you can see that that was a really lucky Wyvern egg, 190 Wyvern egg. So all you need to do is take the Wyvern egg, and I mean, you can take as many Wyvern eggs. Okay, there you go. You can see that we've got a Lightning Wyvern on us at the moment. You can outfly, well, you can't outfly these, but you can kind of outrun them. And what you need to do is pretty much head straight for the mountainous terrain. You can see up here. There we go. So you want to try and get to the flat earth so that you can actually retrieve your body. Now, don't be scared to die. We do have our sleeping bag place. You can fly around with the Argie to try and avoid, say we've got a Lightning Wyvern on us. You can fly around to avoid their breath. But what you need to do is pretty much fly to a spot that you know you can get back to with little difficulty. Say, you know, right about here is a pretty decent spot. Just land, let the Wyvern kill you and your Argie, because you're not going to outrun the Wyvern on an Argie. I can tell you that now. There's no way you'll outrun them. They will stay on you constantly. However, you can kill the Mantises. But you'll see there that the Argie will slowly die. You'll actually die. But the good thing is that you can retrieve your body because you've put the sleeping bag down. And you've got the beacon popping up on official and most likely unofficial private servers as well. You can actually just die. We'll show you here. The Argie is probably going to die. Or you can just hop off the Argie yourself and try and outrun the Wyvern. The Wyvern should attack you instead of the Argie. We're not dying because we have creative mode on. Can we disable it? There we go. So we'll disable creative mode and you'll see that we'll get killed pretty much instantaneously from the Lightning Wyvern's breath. That's if he can hit us. So, you know, keep running, making sure you're getting away from the Wyvern, or just kill yourself. Now, you'll see here, we'll slowly die. Come on, just kill us, big guy, already. And we're dead? There we go. So we're dead. Now, the good thing about this is we can just simply respawn out our sleeping bag, come back, and claim our egg. You know, that's all there is to it. There we go. You can see there we've respawned at the sleeping bag. The Wyvern's going to be there, but he's not going to aggro on us unless we get too close to him, because he's killed who's responsible for taking his egg, or her egg, I guess you could say. But you can see the body beacon, and the Argie has certainly fulfilled its purpose, and it didn't even need to die. As long as you get to a flat terrain area... Ooh, okay, we're going to die here. No, we're fine. As long as you can get to a flat terrain area where you're able to retrieve your body, look at that. The Wyvern's not even in sight. You can easily come back, claim your body, and the egg. Make sure you don't get killed by anything else. There you go. You can see that we've already retrieved the fertilized Wyvern egg, and the Argie has fulfilled its role of getting the egg for us. That's it. The Argie didn't need to die. It had a decent amount of stamina. It had a decent amount of health. That's all you need to get a Wyvern egg if you don't have access to a Griffin or a Pteranodon. You can use Pteranodons, however, they tend to run out of stamina real quick, which is why you can use Argies. Their stamina lasts a little bit longer, well, much longer actually. And there you go, you have yourself a brand new 190 leveled Wyvern egg. So, guys, that'll conclude today's video. That's pretty much all the roles you can use for the Argie. You know, I've pretty much covered them all. Portable smithy, heavy transport vehicle, you know, you can carry a lot of weight on these Argies, and the battle mount, as well as the player killer. So, guys, let me know what you thought of the video down below. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these. But other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.